Lindsay Scott here, coming at you with another episode of Meet the Employers. This week, I am joined by Sue Falcone. She owns Remarkable, a speakers bureau located right here in the Triad. Super excited to hear from her. She is the CEO of her company and has a wealth of information for you all. So Sue, thank you for joining us today.
I am honored to be here.
Sue, so to start this off, if you could just tell us a little bit about your company, who you are, what you've done, a little maybe about your background of how you got here.
Well, it's been a journey, just like everybody's, and it never ends. That's the good news. We can keep making the journey. But I'm originally from Oklahoma, and I knew, though, at my background in Oklahoma, I didn't have the greatest childhood. I didn't have the greatest advantages, but I knew education was the key. And I was the first one in my family to graduate from high school. I was the first one to get a scholarship to go to college. I got on with a wonderful company, the Bell System and AT&T, that saw something in me that made them want to give me all the advantages of an education, of certifications, of everything I would need for the rest of my life. And I had a wonderful career with AT&T, and I ended as an executive level with AT&T. And then I said, okay, I'd moved around. Now, AT&T, I had to move around jobs and places. And this is how I got to Greensboro. I was transferred here, and I came here, and we had a wonderful, wonderful time. But I didn't want to move one more time. I could probably still be with AT&T, but I didn't want to move one more time. And then I said, okay, what am I going to do? My level at AT&T was I was in charge of sales and marketing. I was in charge of events and planning. I was in charge of hiring outside speakers, trainers, coaches, all those things. So it was a natural fit for me to become a professional speaker. And that's what I did. So not only did I have that experience of hiring outside speakers, then I became one being hired. I wrote a best-selling book, and I thought that was the rest of my life. My husband was with the Postal Service, and he said, look, when my career is finished, we'll just be traveling around together. And we thought that was it. But I got out on the circuit speaking, and I realized I was on all kinds of speaker bureaus. And I realized, just like other speakers, they were not doing a whole lot for me. And I thought, wow, what if I could create an exceptional, a remarkable, a unique speakers bureau that would really be a booking agency, not a listing agency. So 11 years ago, I took the shot and became Remarkable, a speakers bureau. I represent professional speakers, and I book them with the clients that can use their services. That's basic how it is. And I don't spend all my time looking for speakers. They found me.
Love it.
Because they've seen something that I can do for them in our marketing and all like this. So that's not where my time is spent. My time is spent on finding those clients that need a speaker for a conference, that need a speaker for a meeting, that need a speaker on the university campus. Some of our speakers have been at HBU, all those kind of things. That's where my time is spent. And then we just opened right before this virus thing came. I'm a risk taker. I found that out, and we opened a new division where we represent music artists.
So cool.
I mean, I'm like, okay, I've loved music all my life. I'm from Oklahoma, and my goal growing up, I wanted to be a country western singer.
Love it.
Now, I didn't have the courage. I didn't have the backing. I didn't have the support. I sang all my life, and I still sing, but I didn't pursue that, and I'm kind of glad I didn't, but now it's come full circle around. I can recognize great musical talent. I can recognize, and we've got some pretty great talent coming on board with us. And so that's kind of exciting how I can blend that love of music and love of speaking and know that we just want to make sure that they get the right information and they get a good time from us, because it has to be high energy. It has to be exciting. It has to be engaging. And we know that that's what our audience, just like here today, that's what they want.
Absolutely.
They don't want something lecture or boring or not engaging, right? So that's kind of where my company heads. And we've got clients all over the world. We became global and we reached out. That's another risk. I mean, that's a challenge. And now it certainly is a challenge, but we'll get back there.
Yeah.
And everyone tells me today, they said, Sue, how are you going to make it through all this? And I said, we just pivoted from, and one of my speakers came up with this. We know we are, whether you need us on stage or virtual online, we are still in person. Yeah. Now, that's going to be a reality for a while. So we better do the best we can do at it. You know, this is the thing. Not only do you see us on stage great, you better see us online great too. Yeah. And that takes some talent, some skills. I know many of you probably have sat through webinars and sat through meetings already and say, oh, golly, well, we're still learning all this.
Yeah.
But professional speakers and professional people and music artists can find a way because they've been doing this a long time. They've been in front of you for a long time, just like I have. So we'll find a way. So I'm not giving up. Matter of fact, we've been busier than ever because people are looking for those skills. So that's kind of how we've come from the AT&T days to currently now. And we just see a great, bright future. And here's our slogan as we go forward. And all my speakers said, oh, golly, yes, we'll do. We're going to bloom and boom.
That's I love that.
Bloom and boom. So that's kind of where we go.
I love it. Sue, I love that you had a really successful career with AT&T and then decided you wanted to venture out and do something new and do something different. And with that entrepreneurial spirit, you started your own company and has been a very successful company. Your female owned and led company, which I think is so cool. And can you talk to us a little bit through this pandemic? I know it's been hard for smaller businesses, and you guys are still doing really well and have been successful and are setting yourself up for the future. You kind of touched on a little bit, but could you speak to a little bit more how you guys are handling this pandemic and kind of what efforts you're taking to keep yourself afloat and hopefully plan for the future?
Sure. It's been exciting because at first it's like, oh golly, can I really do this? Well, my husband happens to be, he came back from his career in Postal Service, and he is my CFO.
That's a good person to have.
Yeah, Chief Financial Officer, but he's also our Chief Fun Officer. We kind of like to have that combination here. But we learned early on in business, we became debt-free, both personally and professional in our business. And in doing that, we set reserves always.
Yeah.
So during this time, I have not, my staff we've not stopped a beat. Our vendors are paid. Everything is paid because we had reserves and we know it's going to come back and we know that we can handle it. We just had a business meeting yesterday and we're excited about it because we see the potential. And no, we didn't have to go get a stimulus loan. And no, we didn't have to do that because we had thought and planned ahead. And I'm so glad we did. But now my staff, let me just tell you about my staff. I have some of the best people on my staff because I hire and employ interns and also contract people and vendors and all like this. But my interns they stay with me. This has been so cool. My virtual assistant that handles most of all of our social media, our newsletter, everything like that. She's an HBU graduate. And I met her and she stayed with me till she got her master's degree. Then she got her perfect, wonderful job, which I was glad to help her do. And then she says, I want to stay on. And I'm like, okay. I said, fine. And then I have another one that is graduating from A&T University this year. She too got her perfect job, ready to go. She says, I want to stay on. And I'm like, whoa, this keeps me learning all the new skills that I don't have to learn. I have people that can do this for me.
Yeah.
Because this virtual world and all the technology, I mean, I'm pretty good at it, but that's not my skill set.
It's a learning curve, that's for sure.
My skill set is being with clients, getting them to see the value of having my speakers and my music talent with them. And so I realized that. So I think how you have to look at this is how you had your business structured. Did it have a good foundation? Did it have a good business model that could be flexible? We pivoted really overnight to the virtual end. A lot of my speakers were already virtual, doing some, but now they do more. And we were easy, it was an easy fit to be able to do that. So I was really, concerned that it wouldn't be, but it was. And so it's worked out. And we've got clients, we've got contracts pending. They can't figure out when, and they can't figure out when they can pay, but we're on that roll, and we see it, and my speakers are just excited about it. So we're just having a good time.
That's so exciting, and what a wonderful opportunity for interns to be able to learn from you. And I think one of the things about your interns that I love is they really contribute to your business, and they are able to bring what they're learning in the classroom and those really hard skills that are the newest, latest, and greatest technology that's changing, I feel like, every day. They're able to bring that to you and really contribute to your organization. And I know you're going to be looking for a new intern this fall.
I am.
We're very excited.
I want to add. I'm adding. I can also say I'm adding. And how I want to add is with interns, because I learn so much and they do too.
Yeah.
And that's the value to me.
Yep.
Of being able to help people. And then if they, need to find their wonderful job, then I want to help them. See, I'm one that wants to help people always. That's our first thing. My whole purpose in life is to do that. And so when I can help another person figure out where they need to go and what they want and help them get there, golly, it's a win-win.
I was gonna say that's like the winning internship relationship. So we love seeing that with employers and anyone who has that much heart and passion for helping people that they bring on board. So we appreciate that, and hopefully we'll have another one coming your way soon.
That's it. I was so glad to connect with you.
Yes,
and I saw that was your niche there, and that was great. That was wonderful.
So one of the things that just impresses me so much about you, and one of the reasons I love connecting with you, is your positivity, especially during this pandemic. We've really gotten to know each other during these times, and through the High Point Chamber, and that's how we originally met. And can you speak to students a little bit about kind of maintaining that positivity and what a value there is, especially during these times, and kind of any wisdom you have on how you keep that positivity going, because you are definitely the queen of that right now. I never leave a conversation with you feeling down, and I think students really could benefit from your words of wisdom.
Well, Lindsay, thank you so much, because I certainly enjoy our Monday coffee chats too, because it's a great start to a great week. I love Mondays. I always have. Everybody says, "Are you weird or what?" I don't know. I just think, it's a new chapter to start every week. But being positive in this negative world, because it is, it can be, and we can see negative in anything. But first of all, I realized early on that in my life, growing up how I grew up, there had to be something else. There had to be some way that, even though my circumstances didn't look great, that I could do what I needed to do to get out of that. And I'm faith-based, and I found that there was a message for me in believing in God and in the future, and staying around people that had that same energy level and positivity. That was key to me, because if you don't pick the right people to be around, you just automatically generate into who they are. They have that influence. And so I learned early on who I could get close to and who I couldn't, simply because I wanted to maintain a happy life. I wanted to maintain an abundant life, because I believe that we can, even in the midst of everything. And so that was kind of where I fell at and kind of focused on. But I was mentored in my AT&T career by many positive people. I had the opportunity of a lifetime to be mentored by Zig Ziglar and a friend. I had the opportunity of a lifetime, and was given that, to be involved with the John Maxwells, to be involved with the ones that you see bring that positivity. And I stuck with it because, you know, even in the darkest times, that can be an uplifting. What you put in your mind, your mindset is how your day and how your weeks, how your months, how your years, and how your career flows. So I understood that. And then I realized too, to stay in a positive mode, just like we are now, because people ask me all the time, how do you handle this, Sue? You must be really crazy because you can't be that happy all the time. And I said, well, I wake up like this. I am so sorry, but this is who I am because I got in a routine. In other words, I believe all through this, because a lot of people I'm remotely located.
Yeah.
So I've been in this world for a long time. I can be in London in 5 minutes by Zoom. Okay. So I have lived in this world. So what better way to tell you that routine is it? In other words, I get up every day, I dress, I do the whole thing like I am going to work because I am going to work.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I do. And I never got out of that. I never, you know, the kitchen is not open all the time. You know, I'm all those kind of things that can distract you and all like this. A routine is great that you have to have it because you have to know where you're going. And at the end of the day, I want to know how successful I was because I measure success day by day because that's how you face the next day. You know, we talked about this earlier in a conversation we had because I was asked on another interview that I did. They said, Sue, do you see positivity now more as negative than positive in a leader? And I said, unfortunately, I think some have gotten that mindset.
Yeah.
That being positive is, you know, not a trait because it looks like you're minimizing the issues and it looks like you're not sensitive and it looks like, you know, you want people to be just like you. And that's not it at all.
No.
You know, and I think I've always been drawn to those leaders that could give me that hope and that could give me that freedom to be able to express myself and be able to succeed and want to hear me. And positive leaders do that. That's part of it. So I never see positivity as a negative. Right. Matter of fact, in Strength Finders, guess what is my number one?
I'm guessing positivity is your number one.
It generates that. It generates to that because that's just who I am. Yeah. But it wasn't because I absolutely sit down and said, okay, I choose to be positive. No, I had to believe it. Yeah. You know, I can do anything if I believe it. Yeah. And that's where I think that comes from. So I want people to know that being positive is not a negative. Because if you go there, it's going to help you through it. And you're going to be able to help others through it.
Absolutely. And I think there's a difference between you can still be realistic and still be aware of the situation and taking things seriously right now, but that doesn't mean you can't be positive and trying to still instill hope in others and kind of recognize this is the state we're in, but we're going to move forward and let's get creative. Let's come up with a way to get through this together and rely on one another. I think they're two, like you said, unfortunately, that positivity is getting a little bit misconstrued right now when we need positive leaders. We need leaders who can analyze the situation and lead us to get through it, but who are still going to have hope. And as we say at HPU, who can lead with faithful courage, that is what we do. And the thing I really love about you is who you are as a person is who you are, I think, as a businesswoman as well. And in my personal opinion, that makes the most successful leaders and business people is if you are authentic and really who you are in like real life is who you're going to be in business. People want to do business with those kind of people and people want to surround themselves like that. They want to work for someone like that. They're more likely to spend their money with people like that and form those alliances. And so I love just that you really are the real deal. And I hope that students can kind of take that away and see you really as a kind of inspiration as to how they might want to be as they enter the world, because you have definitely you've really done it. And I just think you're so impressive in that regard.
Thank you so much. And you know what I found? I look back, I was really an entrepreneur in AT&T, even though it was a business structure. And Back then, women were not valued as leaders as much.
Yep.
And I can remember those days when I ended up in meetings and I'm the only woman there.
Yep.
So you can imagine the enormity of how you have to face this. And they think if you're positive and all, you come off as a flake and all these kind of things. And I just said, no, I can't separate who I am from what I do. And that's where I think when we gave a vision for our business here, we want to create simpler and more successful lives. That's what my business is built on. And how I do that is I find those remarkable speakers that bring that message to people that can create that in their lives. Because I've seen people be messy. I've seen businesses be messy. And it doesn't have to be. You have to make that decision. But I think leaving yourself out of it and feeling like you have to be different at work than you are.
Yeah.
I'm transparent. I mean, yeah, I've told people, I said, this is what you get. You know, what you see is what you get, no matter where I'm at. And I've done my best to make that consistent because I know that's where my happy spot is when I'm consistent. If I have to pretend, or I never went along with this, but I had to do some training on it at one time. And I'm like, you know, fake it till you make it. You know, I didn't believe that.
Yeah.
You know, because you don't have to fake it to make it.
No.
You can be yourself. And so what if you fail? So what if I didn't do something right this morning? I mean, I'm so sorry. I mean, I'm doing my best, you know. And I have a speaker, Judy Morio, and here's her thing. Do your best, and your best is good enough. That doesn't mean you have to be perfect. It does mean your best has to be excellent, though. Where, you know, and that's the difference. And that's what I like about HPU, because they focus a lot on excellence, you know, and that's what we're striving and going on those roads, because I want to be excellent. But you know what? We are not perfect. And
the path to excellence is filled with a whole bunch of mistakes, and mistakes are great as long as you learn something from them and can really move past them and learn from it and move forward and really do that with a dose of positivity. Honestly, that's, I think, what sets you up for excellence.
I do too. And knowing that you can get over it yourself, because you have to let go. And sometimes that's where my laughter comes in. I just can sit back and laugh at myself and say, I let that bother me. Why did I let that bother me? You know, because I don't have to. And it's a choice. So again, it's the choice out there, but I love making those choices.
Well, Sue, final piece of advice, best piece of advice you can give a High Point University student.
Well, I have found if you don't love what you do, you will not succeed.
Yes.
So my advice is, personally, you have to find that you can love yourself, and how you have to do that so that you are great. To yourself, you're great. Doesn't matter about others. It matters what you think about you, because that's what you portray. And others will be generated to you when you portray that everything's okay. And you're not faking it. It has to be real. They have to see it real. So that's the key. Then you have to get into work that you love.
Yeah.
Now, maybe I don't love every day.
Right.
But I do know the basic bottom line. I wouldn't be doing what I do any different. I wouldn't be happy. You know, I wouldn't be happy quitting. Now, look, through this virus, I've had offers to buy my company. Like, I didn't advertise that it was for sale. I don't know where you got that. No, I'm not selling. Or I've had job offers. Well, why don't you just come with us and tell you, no, I'm not looking for a job. I'm doing what I love. Okay. Why would I want to be looking for a job? Or then the others say, let us help you retire. Oh. And you know what I have learned? Retirement's not my DNA. My grandmother lived to be 98 years old, and she invested time in me, even though she had nothing else to give me except herself. That she worked all of her life. She worked really hard. And she told me, you can make it. You can be anything you want to be, and don't quit. So I'm not quitting. You know, so that's the thing I want to share with every student out there. Please don't quit, no matter where you're at. Find out what it is you really have a passion and love for and go after it, because that's going to be where you're successful.
Well, Sue, I'm feeling so inspired from this conversation, as I am from all of our conversations. High Point University students, I hope you are as well. Sue, thank you so much for your time today. And HPU students, we'll see you next time. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.